Hello, good evening, and welcome to Telling Tales. Here we tell atmospheric stories together through the medium of tabletop role-playing games. It is Monday night, which means we are playing Vaesen, Mythic Britain and Ireland from Fria Ligan. This is the fourth arc and the seventh episode. I looked on our YouTube earlier, and it's episode 30, thing that I've probably ever run, ever. So that's cool. Some kind of darker themes come up in the games recently. That can happen. Who are concerned about dealing with kind of darker theme stuff. A lot of stuff on the channel deals with things to do with death, and there may be violence, often not what I do anyway, but yes, just worth being aware of. So before we start, promo stuff below the stream are links to our social media, our YouTube, or watching on Twitch, or our Twitch if you're watching on YouTube, our Patreon where you can support us if you enjoy what we do on the channel, and our Discord, which you should join and come and chat with us and the other people who are involved in the channel and watch the channel. It's a nice place to hang out. Other things that we do on the channel: Wednesdays, Simba Room. Thursdays, every other Thursday, we started a new show last week, Wicked Ones, which Sam, who is playing this evening, is running. And I think the Big Wet will be resuming on Thursdays at some point. On the other Thursday, the alternating Thursday. And then one weekend day a month, roughly, we have a one-shot adventure. I was going to be running one this Sunday, but can't now. But it's going to be the finale of the Space Cthulhu stuff, so that will be hopefully in November. Some other things may come up in the meantime. But let's get back to Vaesen. So let's bring on Sam, who plays Hux, to do a recap for us. Hey, Sam.
Sorry, I was just chuckling because at that very second my camera decided to die. Literally the exact second. Let me just press the few buttons that get it functional again, and then everything will be fine.
Also, apparently I might be a bit laggy, so maybe lots of bad things are happening this evening.
Yeah. Why are you doing this, camera? Why are you not connecting? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well. Yeah, I'm playing an old gentleman who's kind of traveled around all over the camera. Yes. Okay, I've made it. Camera has been fixed. Now is my audio not working?
Your audio is working. I think you've changed mic. When the camera plugged in, probably camera.
Okay. Is that good? Okay, good.
Yep.
We're having a great start, folks. I'll try again. So I am playing Hux, who is an older gentleman. He is kind of a well-traveled, you might say you might say criminal if you're being mean. I don't think he's necessarily a criminal. He's probably totally innocent, but trickster, roguish sort of individual. He kind of found himself along with the rest of the group in London, seeing a Vaesen go into a particular building nearby. We all happened to see it at the same time. We all, whether I don't know how aware we all were of it necessarily, but we all had an ability to see these creatures, kind of magical creatures of mythology, due to different, I don't know, what's the actual word I could use from the traumas from our past. And anyway, we basically were it was noticed that we could see them. We ended up going to the building and meeting some folks, and basically were inducted into this society, which I'm now going to forget the name of. What's the society called, Jonny?
The Apollonian Society.
Apollonian Society. Yeah, so as a kind of taster, we went to up north to deal with a red cap, which turned out to be quite a horrific monster that was, basically eating people. And we did deal with that successfully. Then we head off, I think it was to Somerset. We met a lovely lady there, and also helped deal with some fairies and rescue a man for the fairies. Cornwall, sorry. And she's kind of one of our allies now, which is nice as well. We also ended up tagging along to a lady having a tag along lady who had a spurtus, which is basically like a weird, creepy beetle thing. We dealt with that in the long run via various methods of church, praying, and being good. By the way, she still has that. I said dealt with that, but she's now head off to stay with this lady down in Cornwall because they were good friends. And it seems to be okay, we hope. Then we had a big sea monster debacle, which was very dramatic, which ended in explosives and lots of destruction in the sewers and us nearly dying, but we dealt with it successfully. Then the people who led the Apollonian Society from where we're currently staying mysteriously disappeared on a ship, hopefully to be recovered, but the ship definitely seems to have disappeared. So that's kind of nearly up to date. Then it's just been kind of the current arc we're on, which has been us leading on things, which was tracking down a werewolf, as we eventually figured out, that was following Henry Bonneville, one of our player characters, which was kind of to do with his trauma. And eventually there was a bit of a showdown where we were trying to kind of calm him and maybe chain him up and use some things that we found out about his true name and various things to kind of draw the wolf out of him, but it didn't go well. It nearly killed us again. We've had a few nearly killings now. And then, it kind of, the wolf got put out of his misery after somewhat requesting it due to maybe some unwanted help from our fairy friend. Oh, I should have mentioned the fairy that also lives in Rose House, the place we stay in, we discovered a wee while ago. So yeah, there's a lot going on. And now I've been having a bit of difficult conversation about this fairy. And since then, what's her name has arrived? The lady from
Linnea.
Elfa Clint, I remember, because that's quite memorable. She's arrived now, and she's kind of sitting in, helping us get familiar with what's going on, and also maybe gonna go and find out if what's happened to those disappeared folks from the ship now as well.
Lovely, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The couple of other things that are sort of around, maybe worth noting. So you have a police officer contact now, Officer Marks, that is like, because I've been kind of playing fast and loose in terms of the contacts. Like, if you wanted to call on people, you would have a proper mechanical thing of a contact for the police officer. You've also got another mechanical thing. Hooks is Shorty, the person that he had kind of created using a thing.
Yeah, well-traveled man, the talent.
Yeah. And the other mechanical thing is that Mosley automatic writing, and at the end of last session, he used that talent and had written Daniel Longstone, which is not necessarily a full name because there was a bit of a gap between the two things. It could be a first name and a surname. But because Justin isn't joining us this evening, I thought it worth reminding you of that thing. So let's bring on Inga, who plays Constance.
Hiya.
Hey, Inga. Give us a little recap of Constance. While you do that, I'm going to drop off and see if it fixes my lagginess.
Sure. So Constance is a nun who is not terribly fond of Vaesen. She is, I think, by quite a long way, the most Vaesen suspicious, or to put it mildly, of the group, which is with mixed levels of conflict. But then we keep having our pet fairy friends, like killing werewolves and stuff. So what else is she to think? Yeah, so although having said that, she is having a little bit of a crisis, maybe not a full-on crisis of faith, but a bit of a shake to the confidence given some of the recent events and how things are going. But broadly speaking, very much seeing this as kind of the current mission, the thing that she can do to help make the world a better place, is this kind of having found the society in the work that we're doing with the Vaesen. So see how that continues to go. Hopefully slightly more successfully with fewer deaths involved in resolving issues. But having said that, we're currently off to go find people who've been lost at sea. So, hopeful.
You've had a lot of success with boats thus far.
Oh gosh. even the plot line of this arc made us mad. Just to put that in context.
The title.
The title of his arc, yeah.
Cool, thank you. Who did I say was next? Steve? I think. My chat's gone now. I think I said Steve. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
You play Henry.
Yes.
Can you tell us about Henry, please, Steve?
I can, yes. I will endeavour to stay on stream and not drop out or collapse or anything like that as well. Yes, Henry is a private investigator whose trauma was to be hunted by, attacked and hunted by a werewolf. That's now dealt with. That's all fine. Apart from the small, yes, Henry had put his trust, I guess, in the fairy that we discovered in Rose House. Was hoping that the fairy could just put the werewolf to sleep so that we could, restrain him until we got the opportunity to try to break the curse. That was our goal. No unnecessary deaths. Deal with things properly. Obviously, with a werewolf running around the streets of London, it was somewhat stressful, and decisions had to be made. And Henry had hoped that the fairy could assist, as the fairy has done in the past. Saved us all on a previous occasion. Let's not forget that. But this time, yes, for whatever reason, it wasn't to be, and the situation ended up with the death of the person that had been chasing Henry. So yes, not going massively. Henry's a bit sort of, subdued by the whole thing. But yes, now the big quest, the big call is to try to find. We have to try to find Rupert and Eleanor. We have to save them. We can't let them perish. So yes, pivoting, trying to bolster spirit again and go forwards and rescue Rupert and Eleanor.
Thanks, Steve. And finally, let's bring on John, who plays B. Hey, John.
Hello.
A little B cap.
That amused me more than it should have done. B is a hunter who, until previously, lived in a cottage in the middle of the woods with her son, and is now living in London. Has mixed feelings about that. Also has mixed feelings about werewolves and fairies. Generally, B is more pro Vaesen to Constance's anti Vaesen. Very much has the view that the Vaesen were here first, and we have to, we can't just muscle in and act like we own the place. And has largely been Apple, who's the name we have given the fairy, his their advocate and defender. She's not entirely sure how successful she's going to be at that right now.
Not the easiest thing to do at the moment.
No. It's
We're obviously all feeling very confident and optimistic right now.
Basically,
yeah,
totally.
Just as a group.
So anyway, let's go rescue those people who totally aren't dead.
Yeah, you're about to go away for a little while, and absence makes the heart grow fonder and all that. So maybe you'll come back and cool. Okay, so you were on. We'd done overnight, and it was the morning, and you were just about to start planning the day, basically. So Linnea essentially says, "Right, well, let's start with what we know already. I believe you've gathered some information while I've been traveling here."
We have some details, yes. Now I can't remember. Was it Hull? Was it the port that?
I think I asked about that on
yes.
the docks, didn't I? A bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had the name of the ship concerned. Henry had gone off to ask for local newspapers around sort of, the areas where we might expect to see wreckage or anything like that, or sightings, to get a sampling of whether any information is out there, whether anything has turned up.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Henry will gather those bits of those. I don't know whether they arrived, but I'll gather what I've got and present it to Linnea.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yes, this is certainly a good start. I suppose if we all prepare for travel, we could. I could organise us travel to Hull, and we can discuss on the way. No point spending time here when we could be moving. If you all agree.
Yes, we were planning some travel, so I think we're all largely packed up as well. I don't think there's much to wrap up here.
Sounds good. It'd be quite nice to see the back of this place for a while.
Right. Well, I have a couple of errands. Shall we say an hour?
Fine by me.
She excuses herself.
Hux will go find an early morning. Pick me up.
Well, yes, I'll go off and start packing, I guess. I don't know whether there's any sort of travel gazetteers or any sort of books that might be useful to have to hand, rail timetables or maps or.
Well, I was thinking, so I mean, we're packed up, but not for like, going the whole hunting. I don't whatever quite we're going to end up doing, but yeah, maybe can we maybe pack up some book, like maybe try and pick a selection of books from the library, just to pack, like, not to kind of necessarily read through, but just any that look like they might have anything a bit more watery as topics, whether that's on Vaesen
top 100,
or anything. But yeah, just try.
Yeah, sure. Roll. Make me a learning roll. Oh no, actually, make me an investigation roll.
Is there something I could assist with, or?
If you're grabbing books also, yes. Anyone who is grabbing books.
3 successes on 4 dice.
Oh, well,
okay.
Wow.
Holy crap. That is...
Constance is inspired.
Fewer dice. This is the trick.
I'm not even going to bother rolling. I would diminish.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, Inga, is later, if you are making a learning roll with these books, I'll give you an advantage, which I think is 2 extra d6 to the roll. And anybody can use that because you've essentially grabbed some good books, basically. So anybody who's researching using those books can get extra dice.
Awesome.
There's one tiny thing. Sorry, Johnny, were you done with that bit?
Yes, yeah.
Because there's one tiny thing. I think I find B when there's no one else around, and just say, B, your letters you can write pretty well, right?
I can write all right.
Could you do me a favor and don't tell the others about it? Could you just write the name Alice Huxley down for me?
I'll give it a go.
Hux just wants it so that he can recognize the letters. And we'll take this piece of paper and thank you and then leave without saying another word unless you ask.
No.
Johnny's B doing anything in this time?
I am trying to figure out what to do with Adam. Whether it would be safer to bring him with me, or if we're going to be going on boats that have a chance of sinking, leaving him here. I'm going to ask him. I crouch down in front of him and say, I've got to go away for a few days up north. You could come with me, but you might end up spending time alone in a room. Do you want to come up to Hull? Do you want to stay here with Hawkins? It's up to you.
Hawkins actually pokes his head round the corner. You kind of heard his footsteps on the hall. And he says, you'd be more than welcome to stay with me, young man. And Adam.
Good.
I could imagine Adam being really excited about having the run of the place without everyone else here and just Hawkins. He's just like, it's all mine now.
I mean, he's pretty much got the run of the place anyway.
Yeah, but without Mum here. Can you imagine how big of a difference that makes?
Right. Good. In that case, I will just get myself packed and I don't really know what to do to prepare for a potential sea journey. So maybe just make sure everyone is equipped with stabby things from the weapons corridor.
I was going to remind you that you did get the harpoony stuff. I can't remember if you retrieved that, but I think you did. I think you had, yeah.
Pretty sure we did, yeah.
I think that came back with you. So you might want to take that with you.
I will pack that up then.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll pack it up well so it's not obvious what it is.
I will totally recommend that we pack up a stick of dynamite as well.
We're not taking dynamite on a train.
Oh.
There'll be dynamite when we get there.
I'll nod and go, yeah, you're right. There'll be dynamite in Hull.
You don't need dynamite. We've got dynamite at home.
What is Hull dynamite, folks?
Cool. And Steve, to answer your previous question, which I don't think I actually answered, yes, you can have sort of like train timetables, and Hawkins keeps like an up-to-date, almost like sort of little library of relevant things like like somebody might have a drawer of takeaway menus, Hawkins has, travel things and just all that kind of stuff in a sort of folder system. So is that everything everybody wants to do?
Is the dog coming with us?
She won't be much good at sea, but she could do.
We don't know whether we're going to see yet. There'll be kennels up there, worst case.
He's good at sensing Vaesen. It might well be useful to.
Right. Well, it's not sitting on my lap in the carriage. That's for sure.
I think before this all wraps up, I would try to wait for a quiet moment when I can slip away with a piece of fruit to the aforementioned cupboard, knock quietly on the door, and just say, God, what can I say? It's been. I wish you hadn't killed him, but I understand. I understand why. I understand why. I don't blame you. And you did save us again, so thank you. And I will leave the piece of fruit there and head away. Muted.
As you are
Sorry.
walking away, you hear the whatever knock pattern you did repeated back at you.
I'll perhaps pause briefly, like mid-step, but I won't look back. I'll just carry on.
Cool.
I feel like Constance has to start rolling some vigilance rolls now to spot us going back and forth in this cupboard, just like...
There'll be wear marks in the carpet. Yeah.
She doesn't want to know.
Big pile of decaying fruit outside the door.
So Linnea returns. You hear the door go, but she's kind of busying herself. I'll say that she comes back sort of 20 minutes before the hour that she had given. She's busying herself and talking to Hawkins and collecting a couple of things. Does anybody want to engage with her at all on a separate basis before you set off?
No, I don't think so. I presume we didn't have, because it's all the time frame's been fairly compressed. I presume that we didn't get any more information from those sort of regional papers we'd. I can't remember precisely when. It's probably only like, I can't even remember. It might have been.
I think it's been 2 days.
Okay.
It's like since the initial thing, it's been a couple of days. But do you know what, Steve? Make a learning roll for me.
Okay.
This is your bread and butter, so
it is. So obviously, I will totally fail it. 9 dice.
That's got to be -3 successes, I think.
Yes, the dice just catch fire. 9 dice, 1 success.
Okay. I'll come back to you in. I'll come back to you in a second. I'll come back to you in a second.
I just wanted that to be a prolonged no. Maybe followed by a yes down the line.
I was gonna say if it's me, it'd be a no. Wait, yes. Okay. Let's. So, Linnea has returned back, and there is a knock at the door. And we'll say this is a couple of minutes before you're going to leave. So, are you sort of assembled in the downstairs hallway at that point, do you think?
Seems reasonable.
Okay. Yeah. So the door knocks. Hawkins goes to answer, and anyone who has met him recognizes Shorty standing outside the door.
Do I see any police?
No.
I will go to embrace him.
Oh, all right, Hux. Yes, it's not nice to see you and all.
Yeah. No one
look,
keep me here.
Yeah, I've got myself a job, some government thing or something. So I've got to get a move on. Is anybody looking at Linnea?
Yeah, I'm not.
She's in full view of Shorty, and he is not paying her any mind at all. Does anybody want to make me the empathy one, observation roll if you're watching Linnea?
Surprisingly, 1 success.
Okay. Yeah, she's got a little bit of sort of the corner of her mouth is like tilting up into like a tiny grin that if you weren't close to her, you wouldn't be able to spot.
Can I ask Jonny, just this might be I just don't know, but does Hux know of any, like, because I feel like there's probably different groups of people I'd hang around with, and some would be the sort of people who maybe like are kind of live on the street a long time and talk about and know about kind of, they wouldn't name them as Vaesen, but otherworldly things, you know? And there'd be sometimes you'd meet people on the train tracks who wouldn't be like, no, there's totally like, you know, fairies over there or something. Not in those as many words. Is Shorty the sort of person who's ever entertained that, or is he just absolutely not?
Right, okay. There was one night where you were drinking with Shorty.
Mm-hmm.
Just the two of you around a fire.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of got this look in his eyes as he was looking down the river and didn't turn and look back at you. He continued looking away and said, "You ever seen anything, Hux?"
I get the feeling of that conversation. Okay.
So you think maybe something at some point.
Yeah.
You don't know what.
Okay. I think I'll just say this job could be real good for you, I bet. Good to get you out of jail, but maybe more than that as well. You just keep an eye out. You see anything odd? Might be more important than you think.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, I've got to go. There's got my own carriage, and you see a carriage is down at the bottom of the stairs waiting for him.
Mm-hmm. Told you. Who would have thunk?
Yeah. Maybe I'll be living in something like this soon, eh?
I would never believe I'd be here.
Well, look after yourself.
I think we'll be seeing you again.
Yeah. Yeah. And he turns and heads down the steps.
I will actively turn. I think I'll just turn to Linnea and just say, "You work quick."
I keep to my word, Mr. Huxley.
Yeah, he's a good lad. Should be helpful.
Yes, I got that impression.
How do you have jobs in the government?
Well, government may not be strictly accurate.
I think, to be honest, if they turned up with any amount of official-looking clothes, Shorty probably thought they were government.
Fair enough.
We do have some benefactors who hold some sway. And, well, getting a good man out of prison for a crime that he didn't commit seems a worthy use of that sway. And if we have to forge some documentation along the way, then what does that really matter?
I hope it's not a problem, but we need to bear in mind that whoever framed him, they still probably wanted that crime hidden. Might be a problem for another day, but yeah.
Well, yes, we should make way. We have a train.
Yeah, get going.
Right. Adam, behave for Hawkins. Stay out of those traps in the garden, because I haven't brought them in yet. And you can play with Apple, but don't go following him out the house, all right? Don't go following him to any part of the house you don't know. Good lad. I'll ruffle his hair. Pick up the bundled harpoon.
As
Go on, Inga.
I was going to say, when she leaves, I think Constance will try and give a slightly pointed look to Hawkins, desperately mentally trying to convey the keep the doors closed message, especially after talking about running around with Apple.
Okay. Right, so you head for the train. You get there sort of just in time, and you have a sort of cabin booked out. So you got the table and everything, and it's reasonably comfortable. And you set off on your way. And Steve, I'll say that this is where Henry manages to get a look through the papers. And you see in a paper from Whitby that following the storm a couple of days ago, some things have washed up at Whitby. A trunk of luggage has washed up there, and a couple of bits of like driftwood and stuff, not enough for you to be able to tell anything about what it's from. It's not like there's such an amount that it has to be a big thing, or there's not any markings or anything on any of it to denote what exactly it might be. But yeah, notably, this trunk of luggage, as well as that stuff, has washed up in Whitby, which you may note is significantly further north than where you were expecting. You know, if you're tying these two things together, that's much further north than you thought that you would be going.
And
By about
remind
100
me-
miles, I think.
Right, yes. Was there some information about the storm that we'd managed to gather in terms of which direction the prevailing winds were at the time? Did we have an idea of? I can't remember.
I think you had.
I only remember something about the wreck being like halfway, but that's about it. I don't remember very much.
Oh, was it the annoying
I'm happy
journalist?
for you to have that.
Okay. I think the annoying journalist might have been a bit vague about the direction. I seem to recall that Mosling went to talk to what's his face, and he wasn't great with compass directions. So I can't. Okay, yeah, I can't remember.
I'm happy for you to have been able to gather that
Yeah,
information from weather reports
Yes,
in the paper. Like, it's not something.
it's
that,
certainly
you know,
something I would have looked for. Yeah.
But yes, it would be a northwesterly wind.
Okay. And there's no information about. There's no name given to the luggage. There's you know, it's not they've not revealed the name of the owner of this luggage from tags.
No, so there's no. It's you know, it may have washed off in the water. If it was like an ink pen on there, it could have easily washed out. So but yes, that's the main thing of note that you managed to pick that may be relevant. So you're going to have a good while on this train.
I suppose I will start a conversation. So it's been what, 3-4 days now since they were supposed to have arrived. This sort of thing, if no one's found pretty quick, well, you don't expect anyone to survive unless they've been found the day of the wreck. You know, they're not going to be, especially not in the North Sea. It's not like it's the middle of the ocean or something. They're going to be on a boat. They will have been spotted, won't they? So what do you think, Miss Elfa Clint? What are you expecting here? I mean, I don't want to say they're definitely dead, but I feel like you've got something more to go on, right? Than just they've gone missing, no one's been found yet.
Honestly, Mr. Huxley, I'm afraid that there isn't much more to go on than that. And the fact that I know how resourceful they both are.
That's fair. I know what you mean. I suppose there's people I know who, even if they'd been in a situation like that, I wouldn't believe they'd just disappear without a fight.
Well, if there's something a little more supernatural happening, then all bets are off, really, as to what the normal. Well, I don't think we can run with the expectations of what you'd normally, the normal sort of, the way that these things would go. You know, anything goes really once, if there is something stranger afoot.
Well, all we can do really is gather as much information as we can and presume we have to hope that they're still alive.
Do you have any sort of a plan, Ms. Elverglint? Just, are you planning on going to see what we find up there? Or is there anyone else looking? I don't know.
The first port of call. This is my opinion. I'm happy to take guidance from you as well. We could take a vote on it. But my opinion is that we we head to the company, the ship company, inquire there. Some may argue that companies want their belongings returned to them as much, if not more than, people would want their relatives returned to them. Such is the world. So I imagine that they may be searching for this also. And then see where that leads us, put that together with the other information that we have. I've not much beyond that, I'm afraid.
My geography is not wonderful, but on the route that they were coming down, and roughly where it was that the ship was last seen, are there any islands or things like that nearby? I mean, it seems like we'd know about it if it, come ashore on the mainland here somewhere, but perhaps if there's some, smaller little islands and islets and things that are maybe even uninhabited or less well connected with the wider world, it's possible that there's some sort of haven there.
There's nothing in the North Sea, right, Bonneville?
As far as I'm aware, it's well, what's the water version of a desert? I don't believe there is anything much on that route, which is why that route has been chosen, I suppose.
And to be honest, knowing the North Sea routes, everywhere there that would be, you could stop at, there'll be people there. It's, one of the busiest places for shipping in the world. That's what I mean, if they've not been found. I mean, I hope they will be, but if they're somewhere, they would have been found, I reckon.
My hope is, maybe they've washed up somewhere and ended up in a cave that they can't get out of for the sea or something, and if we act quickly, we might find them in time.
What if they're just not in the North Sea? What if they've run into whatever the ocean version of a pixie is? Just magic the ship away as a joke.
Exactly what I was going to say.
A whole ship. I ain't never heard of a
Building
vessel
on the
that could do
same
that.
level.
Well,
Maybe
we
not the
found-
whole ship, but maybe just the people. Maybe some of the people.
The ship never arrived.
Well, there was something that we read about summoning storms, and there were the sailors. They did have some. They'd mentioned creatures that they thought had helped people lost at sea, didn't they? Captain.
Yeah, he did.
It meant maybe help is a bit of a strong word, but maybe there are those who, even if the ship gets completely lost, that maybe there's, as you say, magicked away some of the people, like the pixies did with poor Dan. Where did he go? How we wouldn't have found him, but he was obviously somewhere.
I see what you mean.
I might, remembering this, take a look at some of the books I've got with me and have a little read on the train. See if I can pick up that thread of the stuff we'd read previously about mermaids and summoning storms, and see if there's anything interesting there.
Sure. Do you want to have a roll, Inga?
I sure do. All right, this is going to go terribly because I have loads of dice for this one now. The advantage is just a one-use thing, isn't it? These books.
Theoretically.
One success
Okay.
on 8 dice.
And specifically, are you looking for mermaids?
Yeah, I think so. Trying to remembering the mermaids and the storm summoning. I think I'll go for mermaids.
Okay, yeah. So you find a previous society running with a mermaid, where they basically found a fishing village that was being almost droughted of fish. And it turned out that there was a sort of long-lasting, offering to a mermaid, which then, and nobody ever saw this mermaid, but there was this tradition. And as things often happen, 100 years go by, and it's still happening. But then one day somebody goes, "Hang on, this is why are we doing this?" So they stop doing it, and then the fishing dries up. For whatever reason, this came to the notice of the society, and they went to investigate, and essentially came head to head with this mermaid who ended up sort of summoning sea creatures to damage the ship that they were in while attempting to converse with this mermaid. And it doesn't say that it was ever dealt with. Although this is also on the south coast, so it's unlikely that it's related. But that's kind of the story that you've got. So you've got a couple of bits of information there around potential powers that a mermaid has.
Well, this is interesting. It does seem like there have been some run-ins in the past. And yes, definitely something here about summoning storms. It seems rather malicious. Some sort of offerings that stopped being made, and it got quite vindictive about things. It's unclear whether this ever dealt with this, but this was on the south coast. It wouldn't have been anything to do with this particular situation, but it looks like the society ship was being attacked by sea creatures at the behest of this creature, even while they were trying to go and help and deal with the situation. So I think we are potentially looking at something quite dangerous if this is connected. It might be completely different, of course, but as ever, caution should be exercised, I suppose.
But I presume this route, this Wilson line route, has been running for some time, and presumably in the same general area. So it would seem odd for it to become a problem on this particular occasion.
This village was fishing for however long until suddenly they couldn't anymore.
I suppose.
We'd have to know a bit more if there was something similar, some sort of deal or agreement that had been breached, or some. I don't know what else might set these sorts of creatures off.
Well, I would like to perhaps I'll try to. I'll endeavour to decide how we might get further details of this luggage that's washed up in Whitby. Perhaps a telegram or something might be sent to ascertain whether there are any identifying marks. Of course, I suppose the shipping company will be keen to learn about it as well. So perhaps they might take a lead in arranging that information.
I suppose the other salient point here is that if there is something like a mermaid, then it seems like they had to travel out to sea for it. So we may well find ourselves in need of a ship if it is something like this, and certainly being clear on exactly what the route is, which I suppose the company would be able to help us with, to be sure of exact. But yes, it's again seems like quite a dangerous sort of thing. I suppose we ought to hope that it isn't something like this, really.
Might be worth seeing if the routes changed at all recently. Maybe they suddenly started going through someone else's territory. Or seeing if the shipwrights used to offer something.
Or even seeing if there's been some change in management or organization of the business, crack down on all these superstitions.
Door to the cabin slides open. Good morning. Offer any of you a cup of tea? Sandwich? Some fruit?
Thank you. Yes, I will purchase something to eat.
If you go to give money, oh no, sir. First class lodgings.
So that's
Well, in
right.
that case.
Get a little spread going. Yeah.
Is that a bottle of wine, I see?
He kind of goes like that and looks at what you presume is a clock outside the cabin.
It was like tucked in the bottom of the cart.
If you please, sir.
First class, is it?
How does he manage to spot them from so far away?
Yeah, I was on like the far side of the.
He takes the bottle and some glasses, and he's about to open it. And Linnea just says, "I suggest that you just leave the bottle."
That's Huck's laughing in character.
And he passes 6 glasses and the bottle in, and then heads off.
I like to think Hux didn't even actually see anything. He just presumes that if you ask for a bottle of wine, there's probably one somewhere.
That's
and if
exactly
not,
what happened.
happen.
It's first class. They've got a bottle of wine. I'll be examining the bottle and making sound. Not that I can read it, of course.
Examining the picture.
Looks
closely,
fancy.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a fancy looking script. Who knows what it says?
So this train is going to Leeds, and then you have to change to go over to Hull. So yeah, you have a good few hours. Do you have anything else that you want to discuss while you're on the train? Or we can fast travel.
What was the name of that company again, did you say?
Out of character, it's the Wilson line. Is it
Wilson
the
line?
Yeah.
Wilson line, yeah. I feel like I spent a bit of time up there. I feel like I knew the chef. She used to cook there anyway. Must have been 4 or 5 years ago on those ships. Maybe if she wasn't on that one, she'll be in harbour. Hopefully she wasn't on that one.
There were 2 ships, weren't there?
Yeah. Well, she's hopefully on the other one, I suppose. I bet she's got some info. What was her name? Oh, old Lizzie. That's what she was called, old Lizzie. Yep. Oh, Liz, I haven't thought of her in a long time. Yeah, bet if she's there, we could get more info out of her. Shall I make my roll now, or shall I make it when we get there, Johnny?
Make it when we get there. Yeah,
cool.
The reason we're smoking, of course, is the use of the inventor and
Well-travelled.
NPC.
It's
Yes.
fun.
yeah. Saves me thinking of a name though. That's always a bonus.
Although you do have the slight downside of having a random character who might not be linked at all to the way you were thinking of revealing the plot.
Does anyone know the name of Mosling's aunt? I know he's gonna come out and join us later, but I don't know. That seems like
I think you do have it. I'm sure that he said it, and it was in the paper.
I mean, someone would
There
have
was
the
an
paper, right?
obituary.
Bonneville's bound to have the paper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Nellie Gwellenhook.
Oh, that's right.
why does he come up with these names?
That whole family. Yeah.
Okay. Right. That's another possible thing to ask about. If I don't know, if going in and demanding information about our bosses doesn't work, maybe going in and asking about someone's rich aunt might.
Yes, not a bad idea.
And Miss Elphiclint, how long are you here with us until we find out what's happened with Rupert and Eleanor? Do you have to get back by a particular time? If this does lead us to needing to go get on this, travel via the seas, is that something you'll be joining us for?
I would very much like to see this to its conclusion, Sister Constance. Yes.
Right. Good.
You must understand that these people are basically lifelong friends of mine now, as much as we are colleagues also. As you'll be aware as a group, the things that you get yourselves into make for quite strong bonding experiences.
Some
Vertical
glances
all around.
back around the carriage.
I will tip my glass of wine to everyone else slightly awkwardly.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we've had our disagreements over the years, some of which have led to some pretty hefty verbal blows, but we're doing what we do to do our best to keep everyone safe. Both us and them, I suppose, when possible.
We do have that shared goal, at least. Yes.
Slightly sidelong glance at Constance. It was when Alpha Clint said them, and I'm just like,
I've got a bit of a personal question, if you don't mind. Well, I always got the feeling that the way we fell into this, the society specifically, wasn't exactly. It was a bit convenient, a bit unlikely, and I think we sort of know how Rupert and Eleanor came to be here through family. But how did you join the society? Was it family or coincidence? Sorry, Jonny.
No, it's fine. I spent some time in an institution. Having been very verbal about the small things that were cooking meals for me in my house and whatnot. So, I got quite good at acting and made out that I now realised that there weren't little things cooking for me in my house. And when when they let me go, there was a carriage waiting for me to take me to, it's called Castle Gillencroots. The the headquarters of the society in Sweden.
Did you ever find out how they knew?
The society keep tabs on things that may or may not be Vaesen related, and well, that's obviously something that could have been Vaesen related, as it was. So they keep an eye on people. I believe that somebody from the society went to my home and checked that what I was saying was true, left me to my own devices until I was out. And here I am.
And what do you think the chances might be that someone had been keeping tabs on us?
I think that's reasonably likely.
I'm just wondering about what else was because of our connection. There's something more than just happenstance brought us all together, isn't there? Given that forest.
Yes, I must stress that that wouldn't have been anything to do with Rupert and Eleanor.
Yeah.
Just to cast any doubts aside.
I don't know, it would have been a little kid for me, if not even that. It was like 30 odd years ago.
Things happen for a reason. There's reasons we were brought together, or reasons why we have the abilities we have, and that we're trying to use them for benevolent purpose, stumbling though we might be.
I suppose this maybe isn't a conversation for now, myself for Glint, but it would be good to know if there have been other occurrences in the society of groups of people happening to join or come together at certain times and then finding out that they were connected by something.
I can tell you there has not.
Slightly worried look.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Of course. Nothing to hide.
Does this ever get any easier?
Yes. And then something might happen and it's not so easy anymore. This is one of those times for me, I'm afraid.
Well, you seem remarkably composed, so thank you for that, at least.
Well, I suppose on a professional level, it's another day like many others. It's only on a personal level that it differs.
I've been keeping Rupert and Eleanor in my prayers, but if you would ever like to join me, or if you'd like some company, then just let me know.
Thank you, Sister Constance. How's everybody doing on conditions?
I got none.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I am also fine, apparently.
Yeah, I think we managed to
We prepped.
clear them off
Cool.
last time.
Either prayed them away or drank them away.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of that.
I couldn't remember whether anybody had like one hanging thing, but if you could, then that's fine. Okay, so you arrive in Leeds, and you have a short while before, we'll say 45 minutes before your next train. I don't know if anybody wanted to do anything. If anybody had a shop that they wanted to try and get to buy anything or anything like that.
Don't think so. I think I just have a walkabout.
Yeah, I can't think of anything offhand.
I'm gonna buy a postcard and a stamp.
Cool.
Look where I've been. Leeds.
Please. Oh my god.
Make sure the dog gets out off the train for
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Whatnot.
Yes.
I love the idea that we all dash off for our walk and then just Constance is just there like, I guess I'm going to let this dog off.
Constance has dealt with dogs before. She just doesn't think they belong on the furniture.
I mean, I think Beat does agree with you on that.
Common ground.
Okay, so you get your next train, no problems. This one's hour and a half, I guess. So not too much longer. So you're probably going to arrive late afternoon in Hull. And the weather's turning a little. The day started off quite nice, but it's not like stormy, but it's a little sort of drizzly now and grey as you're moving towards Hull, as anyone who has ever been to Hull will tell you. But you arrive safely, no problems, and you exit the train into Hull and the drizzle.
Do we
Right,
have
well,
or will we need lodgings sorted?
Yes, I haven't had a chance to organise that yet. Perhaps would you like to go to the Wilson line offices and I can organise as lodgings? That may be the best use of our time.
Yes, very well.
Good then. I shall meet you there. I'm sure I won't be too far behind.
I'm assuming we've got the address of it somewhere that we can give to a carriage or something to take us.
I think
Yes,
Hull's not that
yep.
big. We probably can walk there from the train station. I reckon Hux knows the way.
Yeah, which do you want to do? You can carriage or you can walk. It is raining.
Nobody likes wet dog.
Yeah, let's carriage it.
Okay.
Get there a bit quicker, because if it's late afternoon, then they might be shutting up shop shortly. So
Docks never closed. I was just saying, docks never close. They're open 24 hours.
Yeah, but
I'm sure
yeah.
they've got the office.
close.
Yeah, the Wilson line office is likely to be office hours. So you show up to this small building amidst a number of other buildings for different shipping lines and companies, there is an open sign in the door. You can't see, it's like frosted glass on the door, so you can't see through, but it does have an open sign on it.
Be sort of looking around at the others with the generally recognized manner of who wants to go first. Is anyone wanting to take a lead on this, or
Well, are we splitting up, or should we all go here? I'm probably less use in the office, but if we want to stick together, I could tag along for now.
I
Don't
mean,
see
I
why it's
suppose well, if you can collect any, it might be worth asking whether people around the docks have heard any weird stories or seen anything unusual.
Well, I'll see if Liz is about.
Oh, of course, yeah.
First job. Don't
and
want
we
me here,
can.
I guess.
We've probably got this covered, I suppose. We can. Yes, split our efforts and hopefully cover more ground.
Sounds good. Well, I'll be back here in an hour, more or less. And I will have a quick glance, see if anyone else is joining, but head off otherwise.
Is anyone else joining?
I'll go with Hux.
I'll give
I
you a
think
small
you two
smile.
will be a more respectable face for an office.
You couldn't resist.
Don't want to take the dog in, do I?
Ah, of course. Follow your nose. We'll be able to smell the kitchens at some point soon.
You taking Rosie then?
Okay, so Bonneville and Constance. Have you decided which of you is going in first and taking the lead?
Well,
You've done
obviously,
50-50, now it's ask the audience.
obviously, I would, open the door for Constance and.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll head on in. This is where we're missing Mosling to just be striding in and demanding questions.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll head on in, please.
So it's about 4 o'clock at this point. So it's not dark outside, but like the sun is below, the buildings that are around and stuff like that. If you're stood on a flat area, the sun's still there, but if you know where you are, it's kind of very low now. So there's a couple of lamps lit in here, and there are 3 desks, 2 of which are empty, but stacked with sort of like really scattered and disorganized paperwork. And the 3rd desk is very much the same, but in a dip in the middle of the paperwork is a man with sort of his head down and his hands sort of just on the top of his head. How much noise do you think you would make opening and closing the door to the office? Like, are you swinging the door shut, or are you kind of closing it? Is basically what I'm asking. I'm not suggesting you would be slamming it, but you can just let a door close, or you can,
I would probably have closed it manually, so reasonably quietly.
Okay. In that case, the person with their head on the desk doesn't stir. You're not sure if they're sleeping or if this is a sort of position of despair.
They might be dead.
You do. There is breathing movement. you spotted that.
Well, I might, rather than go straight up to them, then just sort of quietly look around the environment, maybe sidle closer to some of the 2 unoccupied desks, and just see whether there's anything in plain view of interest. I'm kind of wondering whether they would have, given the news, whether there are any sort of notices pinned up or anything like that, or but yes, just have a look around before we engage in
Okay,
conversation.
if you're moving a little, and I'm assuming you're not trying to like creep, but you're probably
No.
not just walking at full pace. So could you make me a stealth roll just to?
Sure.
There's not going to
yes.
be any bad effects other than
Yeah.
he'll notice you sooner.
Let's see whether I hit a squeaky floorboard. It's only 5 dice, so I hit a squeaky floorboard. I do roll 4 5s, but no 6s.
Okay.
You still got a blessing from a previous session.
Oh, that's
for
true.
me if
I
you
keep
want to use
forgetting
it
that.
on creaky
Yes, I'm going to
floorboards.
use it. It's 2 dice, isn't it? Yes. Because this is obviously the best time to use a bonus. I do get a 6, so yes,
Oh, okay.
Constance. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Amazing.
So you see a notice sort of on the notice board, which says all inquiries on Rollo to Jeffrey. Are you looking for anything else specific?
I don't think I'd. I mean, unless there are, I guess, any maps and charts that are out with markings on would definitely be of interest. Failing that, any sort of headline style.
Yeah, there is actually on the wall. There is quite a big map. It's almost because they have one route, right? So it's like it's not necessary to have this here, but it's almost just like like a cute kind of company poster of
Sure.
the route. But it looks pretty accurate. So I'm happy for you to have that in your mind as like a
Okay.
But it looks much as you would expect it to. It cuts almost a straight line across the
the
North Sea.
No one scribbled sort of red crosses on it or sort of
no
point of sinking. Cool.
No.
Can I just have a quick without moving and snooping about, just see if there are any little nameplates on the desks or anything like that with either the empty desks or the one that this man sat at? Nothing.
No nameplates.
And sorry, my memory is awful. Was it Jeffrey or Jeremy that?
Jeffrey.
Not Jeffrey Milner, was it?
We have a preponderance of Jeffreys. They're all cursed.
This one is spelt differently.
Cool.
It's the other Jeffrey.
Excellent.
That was hilariously me trying to come up with a name on the spot that wasn't one that I'd already used, and it's literally the last name of somebody that we used.
Beautiful.
So anyway, basically he eventually lifts his head up, sort of irrespective of the fact that you two are there, and then goes, "Oh, hiya. Can I help you?"
I certainly hope so. We have some questions about. I'm sure you must get this quite a lot at the moment, but some questions about the ship that's gone missing, the Willow.
Yeah. Not sure how much information I can give you, really. I'm afraid there's not. Wreckage still hasn't been found. Sorry, I'm. You would say that this guy's probably in his mid-20s, by the way. I've not been. Sorry, have you lost somebody? I'm terribly sorry if you have. I'm very tired. I'm not being my best. What can I do for you? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry.
we're in the unfortunate position of knowing 3 people that were on the vessel. So we've come to to see what you know and maybe offer assistance if we're able to. My name is Henry Bonneville. I'm a private investigator. I did hear that there's a piece of luggage that has washed up in Whitby. It might not be related to this, of course. No sizable amount of wreckage, but I was wondering perhaps if you had official connections that you might it might be of use to determine whether that piece of luggage was in fact from the Rollo.
Right. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that, and I don't think my uncle had either. So yes, we'll look into that. Whitby. Right. How did you find that out, Mr. Bonneville?
It's sometimes useful to read the papers. I'm in the fortunate position of being able to gather papers from around the world, and we got lucky. Well, poor choice of words, perhaps.
Yeah, right you are. Sounds a damn sight better use of your day than I'm getting at the moment. Got any job openings?
The work we do has its own drawbacks. Be careful of what you wish for.
Bad pay, is it?
No.
Is there a search party then?
Yes. Yes, obviously, my uncle is hoping that the boat is found. It's one of 2. That'd be a 50% loss in profit. So, yes, he's not very happy about all this. Of course, it's me that's left here to deal with it all.
What has been found from the search party, even if that's just ruling out certain things?
Not journalists, are you?
No.
I've had
Do I look like
journalists
a
around here
journalist to you?
sniffing about with similar questions. I'm
Well,
under strict orders
yeah.
not to be chatting to journalists about this.
And, well, Mr. Bonneville here has already told you that he is a private investigator. We have very similar inclinations about journalists, frankly. More trouble than they're worth.
Well, you're not wrong about that. You can see him for a second thinking, and he goes, "Scum of the earth journalists." And he's kind of looking at you both to see if you react.
No disagreeable reaction from Constant at all.
Yeah, I reckon you're probably all right. Yeah, well, where we reckon it went missing is, it's, just a big old area of sea. It's not easy to look around in that large an area. And the Romeo's been back in the meantime, and didn't crash into anything, so it's not on the
So
route.
the Romeo travelled the same route.
Oh yeah, they run a day apart, you see. One's back, one's forth.
Interesting.
Have there been any notable changes with the Rollo? Any changes in crew? Changes to the route? Anything? Anything just to distinguish this particular journey from any other?
No, I think the the general idea about what's happened is maybe just bad weather. These things do happen. But no, I don't think there's... I mean, I could speak to my uncle, maybe get the crew manifests, but I don't know what that would have to do with anything. Certainly no change in route. And he kind of points to the map. I think that's been on there for about 30 years. Oh, yeah.
Until now, I suppose. Well, we would appreciate any information on things like the crew manifest or any other information, as I say, that might have changed. Might not understand why it's of interest, but sometimes you need to see these things for the relevance to become apparent. Sometimes it's difficult to understand what might be key information after all. It's worth having the information, better than not having it.
Have you heard any?
I think you'd have to speak to my uncle about that. I'm pretty sure it's and he points to what looks like a locked cabinet.
He's on the search party though, or coordinating efforts. Will he be available?
Yeah, I think if you pop by tomorrow, he tends to knock off early and leave me to clean everything up. And he kind of looks with a despairing look around the other desks in the office and then kind of back to his own. Might be a late one.
Sorry, what was your name?
Oh, sorry. And he stands and goes to shake your hand and says, Jeffrey Wilson.
Right. Pleasure. I'm sorry, I'm Sister Constance.
Oh, sister. Pleasure. And Mr. Bonneville, wasn't it? I'll not tell my uncle that you might be swinging by tomorrow.
Can I just get a bit of a read on him?
Yeah, make me a observation roll. It's observation, isn't it? Yeah. Is it?
It is.
Yes,
Yes, the human one. Yes. I'll
I don't want to directly ask, but I do want to kind of see if I can suss out what this is about.
There's definitely.
One success.
I also got one success.
Okay. This is somebody who has been, you don't know his entire family situation, but he's obviously been given this job by his uncle, and then it is bottom of the pecking order and being given all the crap jobs. And not only that, he's been given the crappiest job during presumably the crappiest thing that has happened at the company. And you reckon that if he told his uncle that you were coming back tomorrow, it would only be him in this office when you came back tomorrow.
Yeah.
He did give you a kind of slight conspiratorial look while saying that he wouldn't tell him that you were coming back.
Okay, yeah, cool. Ms. Bonneville, was there anything else?
I think that's I can't think of anything else right now. But well, Jeffrey, thank you for your time and your attention. I appreciate it. Must be a yes. I don't envy your position in this at all. But yes, thank you for speaking with us. And I think I'm going to guess that now might be an appropriate time for a private investigator to maybe slip a little coin, just as a sort of, thank you for your time. You're having a crap evening. Why don't you pop by the pub on the way home and have a drink on us, sort of thing.
Oh, thank you very much. And as you're like, I would say you kind of open the door and go to leave, and he says, I am sorry about whoever it is that you're waiting on.
Yes, we keep hope.
Yeah.
Jonny, with the dates, it's saying that the Rollo and the Romeo alternate days. From saying the Rollo would come back safely after the no, other way around. The Romeo got back safely after the Rollo had gone missing and hadn't seen anything. Would just with the days and the timing, would we presume that like would the Rollo be back on its way out north again, like today or tomorrow, or like just trying to think through the days and what we might assume?
I would say that if you're, are you now going to wander to where you think Hooks and B are, or sort of in that direction?
I think so, but the thought just occurred maybe like as we're leaving the door, and if I might just quickly ask about the schedule on the ships, unless with the number of the days, it seems like it would have already gone again, or yeah. I've lost track of the days.
Yeah. He says, well, it's it's docked now. We've had to put a hold on travel for the time being. Bad press, you know.
Yes, scum of the earth.
Quite right. He gives you a little smile.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. I suppose we will see you tomorrow.
Cool. So B and Hooks, you as you are wandering through the docks, you can see that the Rollo is in port. You also spot a reasonably large building, which you gather to be basically like sort of cabin crew stopover accommodation and, you know, like mess hall and that kind of thing. So Hooks may think that might be where you would want to head for chatting to Lizzie.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'll be confidently striding there. I guess I'll make my roll, which is a manipulation test. 7 dice. I get no successes.
What does that mean in terms of the mechanics of your thing?
It says I need to pass a test to create an NPC I've met before. So presumably,
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
the chat I did to create might still be true, but I can't find them.
Perhaps they know you, but they hate you.
Yeah, or they're at sea, or maybe they were on the other ship.
Or Hux just made her up.
Maybe I just made her up. It was.
Hey, well, we weren't sure about who was the last one in Bodmin where we weren't convinced that anyone else could see her.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What was her name? I can't
Is it
remember.
Maggie?
I didn't write it down actually.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like Mags. Yeah, I'm not going to push it because it doesn't seem like the sort of role you should thematically push.
Okay. Right, so you go into this building, and you're basically straight into sort of a common area, which is a hive of activity, and you kind of look around, and you don't see anybody that you recognise, and the dog's with you, right? Yeah. So, and she's kind of like whining, and you think that she might want to go to the toilet, and you just kind of a little bit like, cat, this, I expected to open the door and be like, oh, hello. And actually you're pretty sure that this person certainly isn't in this room. And you figure you'd then be going into like dorm areas to try and find this person. You think maybe, you might come back, but now you don't think is the time to be here.
Well, I reckon given the dog needs a loo and everything as well, and I haven't found her immediately, I will instead just say, should we just take a walk around the dock and have a look at the ship? That'd be interesting to see the comparison.
It's not a bad idea.
Can't see Liz here anyway. Hope she wasn't on the other one. Does it look like there's anyone on the Romeo? Was it the other ship?
No, it doesn't. Well, there's a couple of people, sort of tying things off, and you don't know exactly what they're doing, but but not. There's certainly not like a full crew on there or anything like that. But yeah, did you want to try and talk to somebody or anything, or
I guess
they're up, from where you are as well.
Well, I guess if there's someone on the dock who's tying something, which would seem probably fair, I might just stop one of them and just go like, bad business with the other ship.
He turns to you and says something in Swedish and kind of shrugs.
I'll be like, I'll shrug back and just wander on then. Don't speak. Where was she from? Sweden, was it?
Sweden.
Yeah, don't speak Swedish, do you?
Not that I know of.
I guess I should have expected.
Hux.
Oh. Yeah, go on.
Nah, never mind. We're busy. Let's keep looking around.
I was going to ask, I don't know if this is what B was going to ask. I was going to ask, is the gangplank just down? Is there anyone at it?
No, there isn't a way for you to just wander onto the ship.
I wasn't planning on sneaking on, but I was curious to catch one down.
What I'll say is Linnea catches up to Constance and Henry as you are wandering towards them, and then eventually the three of you catch up to these two, kind of wandering around while the dog kind of pees on things. And well, we're booked in a reasonable place to stay, I think. Should we retire there and discuss what we found and next steps?
Nothing to find here. They just speak Swedish. Oh wait, they speak Swedish.
Yes.
Maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure how much the dock hands are going to have for us anyway.
Right. Yes. I'm surprised the ship's still here, actually.
Apparently they've stopped any travel. This is the Romeo made it back safely, apparently with no sightings of anything from the Rollo. But I think they're a bit worried about the press and such.
I see.
And frankly, the owner or manager or whatever of this place seems a little absent. He'll have to come back again tomorrow.
Yes. Unfortunately, it seems to be a prevailing thing that people who have responsibility often don't want to claim it. Right. Let's head back. And unless anybody has anything else, we could leave it there for the week.
Sounds good.
Yep, sounds good.
Cool. Right. Thanks everybody for watching. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat. Links below the stream to our social media, our YouTube, our Patreon if you want to support us, and our Discord, which you should join and come and chat with us, not chat and come and join with us. I was going to say the words the wrong way around. Wednesday night, Simba Room. That's on this week, right? Nothing on Thursday night this week, but next week will be Wicked Ones again, which Sam is running. And let's do XP before I forget. I don't think there'll be loads to go around. Okay, questions for XP. Did you participate in the session? Yes, 1.
Yeah.
Did you confront any Vaesen? No? Not unless I've forgotten any. You didn't identify a previously unknown Vaesen. I don't think anybody was affected by their dark secret at all. Did you? But if you did, give yourself a point because it can be secret. Did you take risks to protect other people? I don't think anybody did. Have you learned anything? Yeah, you've learned some stuff. That's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Did you develop anything in the headquarters? No. And did you perform an extraordinary action? No. So 2. Cool. Yeah, thanks everybody that's joined us this evening. John, any questions or comments in the chat?
Hang on. I wasn't marking them as we were playing, so I need to scan through. But while I'm doing that, thank you for the follow from Lily Clara.
Thank you.
You know, it's nice to have an episode where no one has sort of died in front of us.
We've had some quite dramatic episodes lately. This was like a nice peaceful. No, nothing horrible. It's just gentle.
Train sandwiches.
Train
again.
sandwiches,
Exactly.
yes.
Mhm.
Flashbacks
Always
to
back
Yeah, I did chuckle to myself about the sandwiches.
The way that the character was like froze there and knocked on the door. I think I don't know if everyone else was expecting it to be someone we knew, and it was something significant happening on the train. It was just sandwiches, and we're like, oh, okay, that's all. Nothing terrible about to happen. No big reveal.
Oh, what I should have done is Rupert and Eleanor serving you sandwiches, but they'd forgotten who they were.
Ah.
wow.
Next
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Plot twist. That was Rupert and Eleanor, but we've forgotten who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Rupert and Eleanor in a trench coat again, right?
Yeah.
An 8.5-foot person in a trench coat serving you sandwiches.
Why didn't we see this earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was also. So are you like? I've seen people use the glitch font thing, and I've never used it before. And I googled and used the generator thing, but like it messed up the line above and below, and I don't know how. Like it really did.
I'm
Constant
actually
hassle.
surprised and amazed that putting that on screen hasn't crashed StreamYard.
Yeah.
I was also impressed that it copied into because I thought it was just like a font, you know. So I was amazed that it copied and pasted into.
Yeah, I think it's like combinations of glyphs and things where if you stack them up, they can kind of appear above and below other characters. So if you abuse that, they can appear far above and far below.
They're all like keyboard things, aren't they? If you go down it, don't
Yeah.
need enough detail, just messed with. Yeah.
Yeah, that was when that everything was going wrong with the.
That stream start though.
I think you mean when everything was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I remember. That's all I remember.
I need to put a technical difficulties sort of
Beep.
loop together.
Yeah.
Please
I
stand
remember.
by.
I
Do not
like.
talk about the event.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of chatter about the poor abused office worker.
Mm-hmm. They slowly pull the piles of documents in around them and sink into the paper abyss, never to be seen again.
Yeah. Sure, we've all had
Too
days like
real.
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, I think most of us
Mhm.
have been that poor office worker at some point.
I enjoyed your mood, John, followed immediately by big mood as Johnny continued to describe the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he might be asleep, or he might just be in despair, or he might be dead. Yeah. So... Oh, thanks, Night Bites.
Yeah,
We love having you here.
Mhm.
There's another one. Is there another one? I just also like this one. Shorty was climbing in his carriage. Smash cut to Shorty being eaten by a red cap.
No, I love Shorty. He's fun. The characters that I've created for my manipulation thing. Don't destroy them.
But you've got to take another talent for them to have plot armor, don't you? These,
It's just going to start a thing of like Sam keeps generating these NPCs. Johnny keeps killing them off in horrific ways off screen, and eventually it's all just a tactic to stop Sam from doing it.
Mm-hmm. They'll never stop. They'll never stop me.
So he keeps. It hasn't happened yet.
Yet.
Mm-hmm.
As far as we know, Maggie is alive and well.
And exists.
Yeah, I mean, and exists, yes. I mean, Lizzie, I guess, is a bit of a question mark, but you know, not confirmed dead at least. And Shorty is gainfully employed.
Exactly.
They're all leading happy, healthy lives. It's all everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Being a well-traveled creative character is a great life, basically.
Getting a job because someone with like a back channel to someone high up in the government pulling some strings and pulling you into sort of coerced servitude is never a bad sign.
It's much better than being in jail framed for a crime you didn't commit, John.
And I'm sure that if he ever leaves that job, then he will, it'll be fine.
If you're going to be a pawn in the Elites games, would you rather that be in jail, like counting down to your deportation, or out of jail and employed?
Precisely.
Either way, you're a pawn. Like,
aren't we all?
On that cheery note,
I wasn't talking about the game, folks.
In that nothing has changed since 18. No. Let's disappear and leave you to the rest of your week. Please come back on Wednesday for Simba Room, and next Monday for more dotting around a whole port in the drizzle. And if that hasn't sold it to you, then I don't know what will. Thanks everybody, and hopefully catch you next week. See you later. Bye bye.